We are joined today by Mr. Gavin Goldblatt, MD of Kigeni Holdings and Portugal Gateway in Lisbon. Gavin, thanks for speaking with us today. As a corporate-linked investment company, could you please share your thoughts on why Kigeni chose Portugal for its investment activities in Europe? And also some of the challenges and opportunities you see in investing in Europe in general, and Portugal in particular.
Samir, there is one simple reason why we chose Portugal as the base for our investment activity in Europe. And that is that Portugal has the most business-friendly environment in Europe, and one of the most business-friendly in the world. This isn't just our view. Over the past 10 years, Portugal has seen a larger growth in foreign direct investment than any other country in Europe, and is consistently ranked across all measures as one of the most business, and importantly startup business, friendly countries in the world. For example, the ECB European Innovator Scorecard has just ranked Portugal as the second best business innovator in Europe. From the perspective of more established businesses, Siemens, Volkswagen, IKEA, Nestle, Microsoft, Unilever, Danone, and a myriad of others all rate their Portuguese subsidiaries as the most effective subsidiaries worldwide. Portugal has managed to do this in several ways. Firstly, the tax code is simple and easy to understand, and taxes are low by most standards. In fact, if you choose to base your company in Madeira, the tax you pay can be as low as 5%, and expat workers can pay a flat 20% tax rate, while the cost of living for them is very low and standards of living are amongst the highest in Europe. So it's very easy and cheap for businesses to relocate expat staffs into Portugal. In fact, Expat Insider, which runs a comprehensive survey every year, consistently rates Portugal as the best country in the world for expats. Secondly, skilled local staff are readily available and are very cheap. The OECD ranked Portugal as 12th in the world in ease of finding new skilled employees, and says it has the second highest rate of engineering graduates in Europe. And the salaries for this skilled staff are less than half of France, the UK, Ireland, Sweden, Netherlands, Germany. Finally, the general business expenses are very low. One example, rental is less than half of the average for Western Europe and is 1/4 of that of the UK. So overall, Portugal is the best place for startups to base themselves in Europe. And that's what we found. Of the startups that we spoke to that were planning to expand into Europe, Portugal was almost unanimously the preferred location for the European offices.
Thank you, Gavin. What would your advice be for family offices in Asia that are looking at accessing PE and real estate type investments in Europe? Are there any specific pitfalls you would recommend that they look out for?
Samir, to start with, I'm not a real estate expert, and I'm loath to give my opinion on real estate. Having said that, I think real estate is going through a bubble not too dissimilar from that of 2007, with very low interest rates and low rental yields, and there is significant risk. One only has to drive through Portugal to see the myriads of half-built projects that were abandoned in 2009, wiping out all of the investors' equity. That has been very much the cycle of property investment in Southern Europe, boom and bust. With regard to private equity, it is a different story. Quantitative easing and all of its successes across Europe and America have flooded the more liquid markets with capital, and there has been some trickle down to the less liquid markets, such as private equity. However, by most measures, private equity investments are generally far better valued than listed equity. And of course, debt is far more readily available and cheaper for listed or the larger unlisted companies than it is for smaller and younger companies, particularly in countries like most of Southern Europe and Portugal, where the banks are less sophisticated and more risk-averse, and therefore focus on lending based really almost exclusively on balance sheets and on property, because it's very easy to make a mortgage-based loan. This is particularly so in the countries with less developed private equity or venture capital markets, and therefore opportunities do exist, particularly if the investor has the ability to arbitrage the differential between the less liquid and the more liquid markets. And that's, I think, where private equity and venture capital has an important role to play at the moment.
Gavin, thanks a lot for your candid and useful insights today. My best regards to you and to your family.